Tom Wilson had learned to be invisible. After Sarah died, invisibility felt like survival, quiet. Enough that grief couldn't find him in the open. Careful enough that Emma wouldn't see him fall apart. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of small moments to change lives, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Kindness True Stories. Also, tell us in the comments, where in the world are you watching from? He mopped floors at Harper Industries on the night shift, arriving after the executives left, disappearing before they came back. That was the arrangement. That was the world. So when the annual company party spilled into a Friday night, and Elizabeth Harper, the Elizabeth Harper, founder and CEO, the woman whose photograph hung in every corridor, stumbled toward the parking lot in heels. She clearly couldn't feel anymore. Tom did the only thing his conscience allowed. He caught her before she hit the pavement. "Let me call you a car," he said. She shook her head too hard. No drivers. No cameras. She looked at him with glassy, exhausted eyes. "Just take me home." He drove her silver car through quiet city streets while she dozed in the back seat, muttering things he pretended not to hear. When he reached the address on her phone, he helped her inside, left a glass of water and 2 aspirin on the kitchen counter, and walked home in the October cold because calling a cab felt like spending money Emma might need. He didn't expect to hear from Elizabeth Harper ever again. He fully expected to be fired for knowing too much. What he did not expect was the knock on the maintenance closet door the next morning. Elizabeth stood in the doorway. No makeup, a wool coat over casual clothes, looking more human than any company portrait ever suggested. She didn't apologize exactly. She said, "I heard what you did, and I'd like to offer you something." Tom crossed his arms. She continued with the awkward precision of someone rehearsing a speech they knew sounded strange. "I'll pay you $5,000 a month to be my friend." The word friend landed between them like a stone dropped in still water. Tom stared at her. She stared at the floor. "My therapist says I've built walls," she said quietly. "My board says I have no personal life. I have a company, a penthouse, and no one I actually trust. I'm not asking for anything inappropriate. I'm asking for someone real. Saturday afternoons, conversation, honesty." Tom almost laughed. Instead, he said, "I have a daughter. Saturdays depend on Emma." Elizabeth nodded. "Bring her." That was how it started, strange, transactional, slightly absurd, and that was precisely how it slowly became something else entirely. The first Saturday was stilted, an ice cream shop near the park where Emma interrogated Elizabeth about her job with the ferocity of a tiny journalist. Elizabeth answered every question straight. No softening, and Emma respected that immediately. By the third Saturday, Emma was teaching Elizabeth to play Uno with ruthless house rules. By the 6th, the 3 of them were standing in Tom's small kitchen attempting pancakes from scratch, flour on every surface. Elizabeth laughing in a way that seemed to surprise even herself. Tom noticed things. He noticed how Elizabeth called Emma smart kid instead of cute kid. He noticed how she always asked Tom about his thoughts, not his feelings, because she understood he answered that way more honestly. He noticed she never once made him feel small for mopping floors. And somewhere between November and February, Tom noticed he was looking forward to Saturdays, the way he hadn't looked forward to anything since before the funeral. Then March arrived and unraveled everything. Emma's school sent a thank you letter addressed to Elizabeth Harper. Tom read it twice, hands very still. 3 years of tuition, scholarship renewal, donor name carefully listed. 3 years. Since Emma was 9. Since 6 months after Sarah died. He confronted Elizabeth on a Tuesday, which broke every unspoken rule they'd made about keeping things to Saturdays, about keeping things light. "You've been paying Emma's school fees," he said. "Not a question." Elizabeth didn't deny it. "I looked into your situation after you drove me home. I found out about your wife, about Emma's school struggling to keep her scholarship. You should have told me." His voice was quiet, but the quiet was the dangerous kind. "I didn't want you to feel indebted. I already felt indebted. You were paying me to be your friend." The word hit them both harder than it should have. Elizabeth looked like she'd been slapped. Tom felt sick about that immediately. which told him more than he wanted to know about what these months had actually meant. He left. Emma asked why they weren't doing Saturdays anymore. He said Elizabeth was busy. Emma looked at him with 12-year-old clarity and said, "Dad, she wasn't busy." She was scared. There's a difference. Children, Tom thought, are devastating. He went back on a Wednesday with no plan and rang the penthouse bell, and when Elizabeth answered, he said simply, "I'm not angry about the money. I'm angry you thought I needed to be managed instead of trusted. I'm angry because I thought we were past that." Elizabeth's eyes went bright in a way he'd never seen. "I didn't know how to ask for help," she admitted. "I only knew how to provide it." "Learn," he said. "I'll wait." She let him in. The water was already boiling for tea. Maybe that meant she'd hoped. Maybe that meant she'd been waiting too. Tom didn't ask. Some things didn't need to be transactional. Some things, the best ones, just needed to be real. If this story touched your heart, please show some love to Kindness True Stories. Like, share, and subscribe to keep these heartwarming tales coming your way. Your support means the world and helps spread a little more kindness every day.